Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another edition of News in Motion. Today is Monday, September 18th, 2023. We are back at it again with the start of a brand new week. How was everyone's weekend? What did you do over the past weekend? If you did anything over this past weekend, please let us know what you did in the chat. Or if you just took this time to for yourself. Let us know how you treated yourself over this past weekend as we get ready for a brand new week. For our audio and podcast listeners, we just want to say thank you for tuning in and turning those dials to Hot 97 News in Motion for your relevant commentary and call to action news. For our live stream platforms, whether you are tuning in through Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, or uh, any other podcast system as well. We just want to say thank you for all that you do. Thank you for supporting us and Miss Gail Deli as always. I see some of y'all coming up in the room. Shout out to Miss Marion Jackson, who is tuning in through YouTube. Miss Adrian also tuning in through YouTube. Good morning to you, Miss Lori Wallace. Happy Monday to you. Good morning, Miss Regina Shorts, and good morning, Louis Pryor the third. So, without further delay, y'all know what we do over here. Let's get ready for some news in motion.
News in motion.
Hey, what's up, everyone? It is Monday morning, so joyful Monday to all of you. I don't know, y'all. I don't like to compare, but I like this intro just a tad bit better than the last one, although I love all the work that Pastor Timothy Carpenter puts out there when it comes to music, instrumental, and scores. And by the way, y'all, he does this for corporations, for organizations, for podcasts, broadcasts, whatever type of intro. If you need your own personal sound, your own score, he's the person to reach out to. Thank you, Isaiah, for starting the shout outs in there. I see you, Kim Edmondson. I see you, Rosanna. What's up, Latrice Jones? I see you, Fred Jones. Fred Jones, if you find the shades, go ahead and order me some. I was looking. I'm not finding them. I'll pay you back. Jardinia, what's up? What's up, Deborah Johnson? Good morning, Pastor Alex Williams. Good morning. Adrian got the music signals out there. I love that. What's up, Robert Holman? Latrice Jones said the new intro is definitely nice. It just gives me something. It's like the wow factor. So I'm so excited about all of that. Y'all, a lot of news was taking place. We did before I get there, we did a like what you call an audit or an evaluation on last week, and everyone feels so good about it. And then I last night I attended it's called a concert of prayer, and it happens once a year in Central Ohio, where I believe they said there were 79 churches that gathered yesterday, and we prayed. It started at 6 p.m. and we went to right about 8 p.m. And I was sitting there praying, and God was moving in such a powerful way. And the Holy Spirit reminded me that there's something I haven't fully given when it's come to News in Motion. And today, my prayer is that it all comes forward. It all comes forward. And even thinking about it, if y'all could hear my voice a little bit, started shaking because I can feel God saying, just let me have the whole thing. So for anybody who could be in that place where you're like, okay, I'm doing it, I'm doing it. The question is, are you given everything? Are you following every instruction to bring it all forward? So I just wanted to put that out there. Y'all, today is Monday. As Isaiah said, September the 18th. I am your host, Gail Dudley. For all of you who are tuning in, we just want to say thank you. So y'all, it's time to dive into the News in Motion headlines. So let's get started, all right? Y'all, Hunter Biden has been indicted. Yep, y'all know that's President Joe Biden's son. He was indicted by federal prosecutors on Thursday on gun charges. There were two charges concerned Hunter Biden, age 53, allegedly he submitted a form falsely stating that he was not using illegal narcotics when he purchased the revolver in 2018. And one concerns him that he allegedly possessing that firearm while using narcotics. The president has made it clear that he will not pardon his son if he is convicted. And this is coming out of many different sources out there. We all been digging into it and looking it up. Now, as the investigation progresses, you also have Speaker Kevin McCarthy, who said the House Republicans will subpoena Hunter Biden, but only at the appropriate time. Not sure where all that's coming from. McCarthy goes on to say in a quote, the one thing the American public has to understand is there's a strategy behind everything. We only follow facts. Hunter Biden will get subpoenaed. Well, help me understand with the gun indictment and him, you subpoena him and making the comment that you only follow facts. What is all of this about? And this is where I want you all to join me in this conversation because something's just off here. And then he goes on and says, but when is the appropriate time? This is still Kevin McCarthy having this press conference. And then he goes on to say, do you do it because television wants it, or do you do it around the facts and the timing? Now, when I continue to rewind that portion, and I'm thinking, okay, he's doing this for that Freedom House Caucus, but he's also doing it for the House, and he's also doing it for the former guy, and he's also doing it for the moderates and the independent Congress people. So he's kind of like playing this double Dutch game, if you will. Kim Edmondson said, who cares? What's up? What's up, Jackie? What's up, Donita? It's just a lot that's going on here. Now, y'all, in connection with the gun he purchased in 2018. Y'all know I'm nosy. Y'all know I'm nosy by now. Now, there's a false statement piece on federal firearms, on the federal firearms form, and the possession of firearms as a prohibited person. They're called prohibited person. And if you check out ATF, you can see what a prohibited person is in the classification and the all of that. Okay. Now, they say that he provided a written statement on form number 4473 certifying that he was not an unlawful user or addicted to any stimulant, narcotic, drugs, or other controlled substance. Well, I looked up the word stimulant. Gotta connect the dots and follow everything, right? So I'm looking this up and I'm thinking, well, that could be our everyday supplements. That could be protein powder. I mean, the list is like wide. So then, based on that list, nobody should have a firearm. Nobody should be able to sign that form, okay? But I still wasn't satisfied. And now it's a federal crime. I want to make sure I put this out there. It's a federal crime to lie on the ATF form or to possess a firearm as a drug user. Now, Hunter Biden possessed the gun for about 11 days in 2018. To my understanding, from everything I've read, he never even fired it off. Okay, he just had it for 11 days. I don't know if somebody came in and saved him or what, but he had it for 11 days. So I started doing, because I wanted to connect some dots here. And so I started like Googling things like, and I went to like my sources that I have out there. Hey, sending emails. Hey, and everyone comes back with, we don't know. So I did a time frame. Okay, this is 2018. I did a time frame from 2015 to 2020. And I put in things like, please give me the number of individuals who are considered prohibited people who signed the ATF form to access a gun. Couldn't find anything. Then I changed the language and said, please help me, identify. I even went to AI, right? couldn't find it on Google. I said, well, let me try this AI. I can't stand it. I don't really know anything about it. So I put that in there. Well, AI responded back and said, anything before 2021, we're unable to answer, yada, yada, yada. I'm like, well, I'm asking for 2015 to 2020. So I rewrote that and put that in there. And they said the best place you can go is to the ATF, which is the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. So they weren't helping me. I went to so many sources trying to find some information. Well, I finally found something, but it wasn't enough. And Isaiah has a link so that all of y'all know, I believe we should all see it together. So Isaiah's going to put a link up there so that we can get to this. Now, he bought it in California. So we got to remember that he bought it in California. And so here's a document. It's a 58-page reported document. You see, Pastor Alex says, aren't you more prone to lie when you are on drugs? Listen, there's something there. So y'all, this is the California Department of Justice Armed and Prohibited Persons System report of 2021, which goes back to right about 2016, 2017. So it's 58 pages. So I was going through that, reading the executive summary, and then they says for the first 6 months in 2021, California remained under the constraints of governor's stay-at-home order. So they were saying they weren't able to actually pull the documents. All right, so that gets rid of 2020, but can you give me 2015 to 2019? So I put that in there, trying to still get some information up there. Y'all, there's nothing. So it says the Bureau had between 21 to 36 special agents and between 13 to 14 special agent supervisors working to address the ever-changing number of armed and prohibited individuals. Okay, but can you answer my question? How many people have faced indictments? So I put that into the system. Can you tell me how many people in California? So I said, okay, maybe the United States is too big. Let me take it down just to the state where the firearm was purchased. I said, so how many people in 2015 to 2019, I shortened it before the pandemic, who were considered prohibited persons have been indicted for signing the ATF form? They're showing zero. So help me understand what's really going on here. Now, he shouldn't have it. I'm not advocating that he should have a gun. He should not have it. But then this got me to thinking, Latrice Jones, how many people are actually who have access to firearms, who are using them on a regular, okay, on the regular, and they haven't committed suicide to kill themselves or anything like that, and they turn the gun on themselves. But how many people? So are we going to start going through and indicting everyone? That's not a bad thing. But why Hunter Biden? So again, y'all, I don't want us to lose focus, and the link is in there for you to see it. And I think I have it here too, so y'all can see it this way as well. But check this out. I want y'all to read this for yourselves because it is some very interesting information. And it really brings us back to asking the questions, why particular people? Why? And how many people are actually, it's just like ignore, like, or slap on the wrist or whatever. Indictments, I don't see any. I kind of like went, and I'm very careful when I go to certain sites. I went to the DOJ site and played around, but I can only stay in there so long because when they started asking you questions, in which I was able to complete all of that. But then it came back down to, okay, let me back out of this. But I could not find any. And if any of you are able to find any information, statistics, or anything on that, please share that with us. And I haven't given up. We're going to keep digging. But these are some questions. Y'all know I said one of the things that we will continuously do is we promise to get on your last nerves when it comes to voting. These are some of the questions we need to ask. Do the voting rules apply to everyone or just to certain people at certain times? And then he's also being investigated about his business deals when his father was the vice president. And people say, come on, y'all, we do this too. We got it. Somebody in our family's doing something great. Well, someone, so that's called name dropping. He is probably name dropping his dad every day. My dad is Joe Biden, the vice president of the United States of America. My dad is Joe Biden, a senator for the, at that point, Delaware, Maine district. Just all of that. Just a lot right there. So Tell me, what do you think here? And Kim said, and the money. Fred Jones says they don't want Joe to get a second term. No, they really don't. Robert Holman says big fishing trip. Kim Edmondson said complete waste of time and taxpayer money. Tracy Kumi, what's up, girl? On LinkedIn says, good morning. Finally, I'm in. I'm glad you're in as well. Thank you for joining us. So, y'all, there's a lot of dots we need to connect there, but these are questions we can ask as well. What are the standards? Will there be new legislation that we're going to bring forth? How do people who have firearms, are we going to go through? Now, see, I'm going to step on some nerves here. We're going to go back and confiscate those guns that we found out that they signed the ATF form illegally. Can we even trace those? Y'all, from this is how far back I went because I was looking for information. Y'all, back as far as 1849, there were 437 million firearms, and half of those are considered illegal. Y'all can find that on the ATF website. Y'all, this is the type of information I was looking for. Donita says they did a story similar to your question on ABC News. Your answer just helped confirm that the GOP is working taxpayers. Yeah, is wasting taxpayers' money. Yes, there's a lot of that's going on. And these are the kind of questions we need to be asking. Yes, good morning, Noana Turner, good morning. So y'all, then I need to go to the next story. All right, this is the UAW Bloomberg report. As we know, they walked out at 11:59 on Thursday, right before midnight Friday morning. Workers at Ford, General Motors, and Stellantis. Some of you are writing in saying, who's Stellantis? Y'all, listen, first of all, and I don't mind sharing this with y'all, and I'm glad y'all trust me to look up the information, but y'all, that's the old Chrysler. They're now Stellantis. And people were saying, hey, who is that? Now, listen, y'all, when you hear something, and this is an educational moment, and I know you may not want to, but y'all, we cannot be lazy in our community. And I'm not calling you lazy per se, so don't throw me the hate mail, but look it up. If you hear me say something, or you're watching news, or you're listening to NPR or a podcast or something, and something comes across, write down the word. If you don't know how to spell it, use phonics and pull it out there, pronunciation, write it the best of your ability, Google it will correct it for you, and then find out your answer. Stop just going along saying, oh, whoever Stellantis is. People were acting like it was a person. No, it's Chrysler. It used to be Chrysler. Y'all, seriously, this is one of the things that we have to get better at. If we don't understand something, like you did, you called or you emailed and you asked, I responded, and we're like, oh, that's Chrysler? When did that happen? Great question. So just go. There's so much information out there for us to tap into. And I believe if we start holding on to this information, we will become more powerful people. Okay, we really will, because we will be armed with the knowledge that we need to go forth. We will be armed with that. So, y'all, that's who Stellantis is. They're demanding job security and better wages. Now, this is day 4. Now, Senator John Fetterman drove from Pennsylvania to Michigan to join their protest. And then Bernie Sanders was out there rallying the people as well. And Joe Biden has also says he's backing the workers. I was like, well, what are we about to do right now? I love it because it's about the people. I love it because it's about the people. It's people over politics. Let's get to the bottom line of this. And then you have Elon Musk. Here he comes again, right? You have Elon Musk that's sitting back talking about, I'm in a good position because of electric vehicles. Well, okay, dude, you need to zip it, because you're dying over here with X, formerly known as Twitter, and you trying to figure out how you going to get this 44 billion paid off. So you might want to just slow your roll a little bit. Just slow your roll. Now, I will also say with Elon Musk, fair and balanced, he is striking some serious deals with the charging stations. He's now struck a deal with Toyota. He struck a deal with Honda. He struck a deal with Ford. He's striking deals. So, okay, but work together. Where do we unify and stop saying this is my 1% and this is my piece of the pie? Y'all, here's more regulations that we can be asking about when it comes to voting. More regulations, more understanding, y'all. When we armed with this information, we're able to navigate some things. This is from the president of UAW in a quote. Sean says, if we don't get a better offer, this is like y'all talking about fighting words here. He says, if we don't get better offers, then we're going to have to amp this thing up even more. Well, what are y'all talking about doing exactly? You've already walked out. You're talking about an additional 2,000 workers coming off the line. Ford already said they had to cut 600 jobs just in the first 3 days. So you're talking about you're gonna have to amp it up. Well, we're not gonna have any vehicles. What's really happening here? So y'all, this is a fight that at some point the collective people of America need to start standing up and voicing our opinion, because this is what's happening. It is hurting people's homes, it's hurting people's jobs, it's hurting people's income, it is hurting a lot of people, and we need to pay attention to this. We're already talking inflation. We're also hearing about another possible rate hike. All of this is coming up. Then we got the government shut down. Now the House semi just kind of put something out there, but they said it's going to be dead on arrival when it gets to the Senate. They have less than 13 days to determine that, or else we will have a government shutdown. And even what the House is proposing, I want y'all to hear this. I want us to hear what's being said. Even when you hear the House is proposing something, they're only talking about funding it for 31 days. Who does that? Why are we playing with the people? Fund it. Why are we doing this every year in the first place? Fund it. We should go in. And these are some of the questions when I'm looking at this. Y'all can tell I'm pumped today, right? Here's some of the questions that we need to be paying attention to or asking. The questions aren't, can you serve in office? The questions are, what is your budgeting plan? Are you willing to go into office with a budget already ironed out? What's already the pork that's going to be? When I say pork, you got the pork, you have the fluff, you have all that comes into these documents. What's the pork that you're bringing to the table? What are you willing to accept? What are you willing to deny? Do you have the American people on your mind as you're moving forward? These are questions, y'all. We need to start changing the narrative. We need to start asking those tough questions, which also means it's time for us to attend these town hall meetings. Pastor Anita says a strategic plan. Yes. Latrice Jones says there's so much we need to do in the Black community. Reading is the top 10. Yes, Latrice Jones. Yes, yes, yes. And paying attention. I was reading different articles that were coming in, and I was seeing almost a similar narrative of let's just turn this page, let's just calm the excitement down in America. And I'm thinking, what do you mean just want to calm us down? No, answer the question. Why are you going to pacify the American people who work for the federal government for 31 days? No, you wondering why blood pressure is going up. All of these things are connected, people. Blood pressure, hypertension, stress, cardiovascular issues, migraines, just all types of things. And yeah, y'all, that's another subject. I'll touch on it just a moment here, but we're doing a lot. We're doing a lot with this food thing, y'all. I saw a strawberry that was as big as a apple, and I'm thinking, I'm not eating that. Y'all, there's a cycle that we're in that we have to get out of. There's a cycle. I won't give the company name, but I was reading an article about a particular company that the lines are wrapped around the building going through the drive-through. There are 56 ingredients in that item. And within those 56 ingredients, more than 40 were man-made. And I'm like, there's an addictive substance in that item while this drive-through has these lines wrapped around the building. What are you eating? Is it making you sick? Y'all, we need to pay attention. If you cannot pronunciate the first 10 words in the ingredients, leave that stuff alone. Leave that stuff alone. All right, y'all, and the Dallas Morning News is reporting that Ken Paxton was impeached in May on corruption charges. Well, after a 10-day impeachment trial, the Texas senators voted to acquit. Yeah, Paxton on allegations of bribery and corruption. Yeah, that happened. It happened on Saturday. So can we just do anything? Again, connecting these dots. So do these rules stay with everybody? Good morning. And we did get your voicemail. We will get back to you. We promise. Are we just letting everything slide? Or who can actually have bribery and corruption and, they go free and the rest of us go to jail, go to prison, whatever. Some of this, when I saw that alert on Saturday, I must be honest and share with y'all, I was a little angry. Like, what? You can do this? If y'all remember, I reported on this guy back in May. back in May. Actually, I think it was in April. I reported on this guy back in April, and I talked about how he was in the car and he was trying to drive off, and the FBI came to his home. Y'all remember that story, right? And the wife was in the house and all kinds of mess was jumping off, and he was trying to run away. Y'all remember that story, right? This is him. This is him. So y'all get this. Texas Tribune reports he still faces state security fraud charges, a case that has stretched out for 8 years. Why is that stretched out for 8 years? And why is he behind bars? This has been happening since he took office in 2015. The case has been delayed. He's also under investigation by the FBI since October 2020, although no charges has been filed. Why haven't any charges been filed on this man? In the state case, Paxton faces 2 counts of security fraud, a first-degree felony that carries a punishment of up to 99 years in prison, stemming from 2011 efforts to solicit investors. What? Why is he not? Why did y'all vote to acquit this man? And guess what? Because they acquitted him, he can go back to being AG of Texas. How about that? Make this make sense? But this is what's happening. While all of this is going on, yes, Kim Edmondson, the rules don't apply to everyone. And I don't know about you all, but I'm tired of it. And on top of all of that, let's talk about Black women's economic security. Because I want to talk about this real quick. And I think I got time before we get out of here. I forgot, I have time. Whether we go a couple minutes or we go more than 30, I got time. Those are our new rules. This came out from the White House. This is reporting from the White House on Friday. This is the readout of the White House Roundtable on Black women's economic security. And I'm not going to read all of it, but they say among full-time year-round workers, Black women typically make 69 cents for every dollar paid to white non-Hispanic men, undermining their financial security and costing them nearly $1 million over a 40-year career. This is compared to the broader gender wage gap for which women working full-time year-round, white women, are typically paid 84 cents. Y'all heard that right. Black women, 69 cents per every dollar. White women, 84 cents per every dollar. On average, okay, y'all, participants discussed the many factors that contribute to gender and racial wage gaps, including outright pay discrimination, barriers to access good paying jobs, and disproportionate caregiving responsibilities. And the caregiving being that of elder care and their children. Let's talk about this a little bit. I promise y'all, we're almost done. Let's talk about this just a little bit. All right, so they typically make 69 cents for every dollar, which means there's some that probably make more or some that makes less. Let's talk about that. Now, I want to put together a call to action. And then I got a scripture to back it up, y'all. All right. A call to action. One, that we regularly support Black women business owners. Regularly. Not in February, not just in March, not just in December, but regularly. And we also have to change our mindset of what it is to support a Black-owned woman business owner. I see a lot on here. We have Pastor Anita. She has a ministry. She doesn't have necessarily a quote unquote product, but sowing into her ministry. We have on here Kim Edmondson. We're talking about investments and growth and understanding budget. So into that. We're talking about Latrice Jones. We're talking about Adrian, paparazzi. I think they still do that. Paparazzi, buy products. This is the time to do that. We have, we got all kinds. I don't want to start. I don't know if Davia is on here this morning or not, but Davia and what it is that she's doing with her podcast. So into that. We have Donita. We have Nawana Turner on here. Paparazzi. I think she's still doing that. Another thing, she's a consultant. So into that. Tracy Coomey. So into that. We have so many people, and I'm just going through, and I might be missing names. We have Stephanie Burbridge Hall on here. She has a suicide prevention walk that's coming up. So into that. We have a ton of people. So into these things, y'all, not just for a moment, so into them ongoing. Buy their books, buy their coaching, just so whatever that looks like. We have to change our mindset there. Consider joining an investment club. Hello, somebody. When I'm talking about investing, y'all can see it. Option trading is the bomb.com, whether that's day trading or swing trading or regular investments, whatever that looks like. Contact Kim Edmondson. She can help you with that. Freely share products on social media. Give a review that costs you nothing. So if you have a lack of funds, that costs you nothing. Just go ahead and do that. Share that. If you have an influence and a position, mention their name at the table. It's not going to take anything away from you. Mention somebody else's name. It's okay, y'all. This is what we're fighting against. They want to pay 69 cents, typically 69 cents on a dollar. We got to pay into that. Make connections, pass their business cards and Vita on to others. Y'all, this is how we do this. This is the game plan, the strategic plan, the political move here. Okay, this is how we have to handle this. So I was reading Mark 8, and it starts at verse 5. How many loaves do you have? Jesus asked. 7, they replied. He told the crowd to sit down on the ground. When he had taken the 7 loaves and given thanks, he broke them and gave them to his disciples to distribute to the people, and they did so. They had a few small fish as well. He gave thanks to them, also told the disciples to distribute them. The people ate, were satisfied. Afterwards, the disciples picked up 7 basketfuls of broken pieces that were left over. Remember, they didn't have anything at first, all right? The disciples had forgotten to bring bread. This is now verse 14, except for 1 loaf they had with them in the boat. Be careful, Jesus warned them. Watch out for the yeast of the Pharisees, that of Herod. They discuss this with one another and says, is it because we have no bread? He comes back aware of their discussion and says, why are you talking about having no bread? Do you still not see or understand? Are your hearts hardened? Do you have eyes but fail to see and ears but fail to hear? And don't you remember when I broke the 5 loaves for the 5,000, how many basketfuls of pieces you picked up? 12, they replied. And when I broke the 7 loaves for the 4,000, how many basketfuls did you have left over? 7, they replied. He said to them, do you still not understand? Let me tell you about the Black woman. Hello, somebody. We will find a way. God will help us make a way. But the thing that we cannot become the obstacles for these women, for our Black men. And one thing about, and I thought about you, Latrice Jones, if you're still on here, Black women also will protect their Black men. Hello, somebody. We're like, okay, we're not having it. We're not doing it. What do we need to do? We may cry about it for a moment, but one thing that I found out of this particular passage of scripture when I was looking at this whole Black women economic piece is that Black women will not only find a way, but Black women will just sit back and say, okay, I may not have it at this second, but sure enough, it's coming. Because if God put me in this spot for a moment, and if I've been faithful over a few things, oh, he's coming through. We will start singing hymns, washing dishes, walking through the house, anointing doorposts and everything else because it's coming. We're preparing ourselves for it to come. And that's what I loved about it. Sometimes there are people that God gifts us to have it whenever. And I have some friends like that. They it's like, thank you. But they also are making sure, and they're watching quietly to make sure everybody else in the community are all right. Now, they're not being boastful with it. They're not flaunting it. But they may slip you a little something in your hand. They don't even know that you need it. But because they're open to hear God's voice, they're sending it over to you. Just say thank you and don't run your mouth about it either. Hello, somebody. But when God is doing that transparent moment, I can remember some days I'm like, to my husband, and I think he's the bomb.com. He's Dr. Dudley, okay? Earned degrees. He got, I don't know how many master's degrees. But anyway, and then a doctorate and then a PhD, just all kinds of stuff, all right? And I'm like, I wonder why God does not continuously move us in this cycle. And he said, because God knows he can trust us with a few things. He knows that we're going to rely on him in the midnight hour. And so when I think about these women who's doing so much and they're working so hard, they have to have faith in Jesus. That's the only way we're going to pull through this, y'all. That's the only way. So we have to be there. Latrice Jones says, I'm here and I absolutely will protect my husband, son, brother, nephew. Hello, somebody. I'm there with you. So let me turn to prime time. Hello, somebody. Look, Buckeyes, it's been real, but this season, I got to jump on the bandwagon with Coach Prime. Colorado Buffaloes, college football. I don't know if y'all stayed up to 2:30 in the morning, but I know I did. Y'all, and then he was later on 60 Minutes on Sunday. And I loved when he said, the engine that could. He was so confident. That man didn't know what to do with Coach Prime. He said, the engine that could. I think I can. I know I can. I did that. That's the Black women economics as well. I think I can. I know I can. I did that. Yes, y'all, be okay with putting out there what you've been doing and how you're doing it. It is okay to toot your own horn, but y'all, it's even better to allow somebody else to toot it for you. Y'all, season tickets are sold out. You can't get a ticket there. I love this this quote from Coach Prime. God wouldn't relocate me. The guy was like, what do you think about relocating from Jacksonville to Colorado? And then, from Jackson to Colorado. So then he says, which I just loved it. He says, I've never been here. I don't know how to snowboard. I don't know how to ski. I don't know anything about that. He said, but God wouldn't relocate me to something that was successful. Hello, somebody. Stop thinking that you're going to be promoted into something that's already working. No, God's going to promote you into something where you're needed so that you can shine and come forth, y'all. Seriously. He asked him about Jackson. He said, oh, I finished the task there. I finished the task. That was done. That was finished. And then he gives this quote: if words run you off, because they were talking about the students that he went in and made this big speech and told some of the students, time for you to go to cut all this coaching staff, so you get ready to leave too. He says, if words run you off, you ain't for us. He goes on and says, verbiage to run you off because you don't feel secure with your ability, you ain't for us. Which says to me, y'all, we have to be secure with our ability to do what we've been called to do. Stephanie said, he's real. He really is. Lori says, Dion has always been one of my favorites. Cowboys. I knew the Cowboys was coming out. Mike Nicholson says, that is happening with me right now. Listen, Mike Nicholson, me too. If anything, when I look at Deion Sanders, when I look at Coach Prime, I'm looking at life lessons. He's really teaching some serious lessons. If we can get beyond our hate and the naysaying and all of that stuff and just lean into what he's teaching us, y'all, we can go far. Truth, he goes on and says, truth is good for kids. We're so busy lying. Y'all, he was real up in there. We're so busy lying that we don't recognize truth. Boom. That's just a mic drop. He goes, we want everyone to feel good. We've talked about that many a times right here on News in Motion. We want everybody to get a trophy. Well, guess what? Everybody's not going to get a trophy. You have to work for that thing. I can recall when my daughter was trying out for varsity cheerleading at Olentangy Orange High School. She would have been the first Black. She ended up, y'all know she made it, so she did make it. But we would come home. She had to come home. She had to go on the computer and see if her name was pulled up. And I said to her, before you go on that computer, if you didn't make it, what are you going to do? She said, I'll just try harder and try out again next year. Okay, because there were some serious girls out there, tough competition. And as her mom, I wasn't bringing her down. I was just preparing her. You may not make it. How many girls went out? I think it was 50 girls. They only were taking 15, I believe, 15 or 16. And she made it. But even with that, I said to her, you cannot stop working hard. Just because you made it, this year, don't mean you'll make it next year. So what are you going to do? What skills are you going to continuously better so that when you come out next year, you can make it again? Or for basketball, you can make it again, whatever that looks like. We have to stop being so complacent and so comfortable with what it is that we're doing. So going back to Black women in economics, what are we going to do about it? When we're looking at the UAW, what are we going to do about it? How are we going to support our friends and family and community with the UAW strike? When it comes to former attorney, could be back in the seat today, what's his name, Ken Paxton. What are we going to do? How are we going to raise our voices? What are we going to stand up? How are we going to recognize this? Even when it comes to Hunter Biden, what are we going to do? How are we going to move forward? All right, y'all. That's all the time we have today. That's all the segment we have today. I covered everything. If you all have any questions, post them up in there, and I'll get them real quick. If not, by the way, the COVID vaccine is now available. It became available on Friday. I don't know what's included in there. You'll have to look at it for yourself. Flu season is coming up. All of that's happening. So you do whatever you can. Thank you all for those of you who listened to and downloaded this past Friday's podcast. If you did not listen to it, you want to check out Pat Williams. She really dealt with this whole piece of skilled nursing facilities, assisted living places, and how to advocate. She's a certified senior living advocate. You want to check that out, and don't miss this Friday. Yeah, y'all, I went straight government on all of us and sat down with two amazing women talking about Social Security. Y'all gonna be shocked. Y'all gonna be shocked. All right, y'all, that's it. Until tomorrow, stay moving. And remember, y'all, live your life abundantly. We're out.